Today's video is sponsored by Chromebooks, so I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to show you how I make my cell phone wallpapers. So I've grabbed my Chromebook, my new toy for this season, and I'm at my local coffee shop. So let's grab a coffee or a tea. Definitely you should grab a muffin if you've got one, and we're gonna have some fun making artful wallpapers. Hey guys, I'm Shayda Campbell, and on this channel we do all things creative. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now today it's the start of the month of May and it's the start of the week, so I thought it'd be the perfect time to get out of the house, get out of the studio. We're out and about at a little coffee shop in Charlottetown, and I'm just gonna show you guys how to make your own cell phone wallpaper. It's sort of a nice way to refresh your phone. This is something you could download online, but it's equally easy and way more fun to make it yourself. It's just a fun digital craft. You can do it over the course of a cup of coffee or tea, so let's get started. Now, because I'm going to focus on showing you around Adobe Draw, one of the Chromebook apps, I don't want to get bogged down with illustrating things perfectly. So we are going to make this really fun, and we are going to do our best to paint a wallpaper that's in the style of Maud Lewis, a Canadian folk artist. And folk art is kind of having a moment right now. If you think of work of Dinara Murtalapova or Rifle Paper Co., they're very popular, and it's also the perfect thing for a cell phone wallpaper. So let's get started here. I'm on my Chromebook and I am just going to open up Adobe Draw. And the first thing when I go to create a new piece is I'm able to choose from a whole plethora of sizes, and I'll just choose 9:16, which is of course the ratio for a cell phone, and you can see there I've got a nice blank canvas now, and it's already sized and ready for me. And then if you look at the menu on the left here, I've got a bunch of different pen heads. So there's a whole bunch of different sort of nibs with an eraser right at the bottom. And I tend to just use the top nib. The round one is kind of like a Sharpie. Once you choose your nib, it takes you into another menu, the top thing being size, and you just drag your pen or your stylus up and down to change the size. Next is opacity, same thing, up and down to change the opacity of your pen or your color. And then of course the color is at the bottom. Once you click that, you open up this color wheel and you can move it around and get any color of the rainbow. You can also go in here and sort of look up the RGB scales or change the hex number. Actually write in the number of the color that you want or the code of the color that you want. I tend to use the wheel most often unless I want to be sure that I'm getting like true white or true black. So to start, I've chosen a nice light shade of blue and I'm making a border around my canvas. Then all I have to do is click in the middle of that perimeter that I've laid out, and it will do a color fill. So anytime you want to fill something in, just click and hold. And then I'm making another layer. I've got my layers palette on the right hand side. So pens are on the left, layers are on the right. So you just click that little plus button anytime you want to add an additional layer, and anytime you use the eraser, it's going to erase from that layer only. So think about that. If you want to erase and you're working all in one layer, not only are you going to erase what you're drawing, but you're going to also erase your background, right? So that's why we make these extra layers, to make erasing and just to keep things clean and a little bit easier for you, the artist. So I've switched my pen color back to white here, and I'm going to start by drawing some blossoms. I'm going to do a little strawberry field inspired sort of folk art wallpaper. And part of the reason I'm doing folk art is just because it is so graphic and punchy, especially that style of Maud Lewis. It's almost childlike, it's very whimsical, and I just thought it would be really fun as a beginner project, a sort of intro to using Adobe Draw on the Chromebook. And you can create something that is, it is a little childish, but it's going to look beautiful as your cell phone backdrop. And you can just see here that I'm changing up the color of the pen. I also will change the size. It's really easy. For size or opacity, I'm dragging my stylus up and down to change the size. And then for color, I click on the color and my wheel comes up and I'm able to switch things up. So here I'm going to start doing some strawberries. So I've picked a nice shade of sort of a cool pinkish muted red, and I'm just doing these cute little heart-shaped strawberries, very nondescript shape, and I'm just layering a few of those. I'm also doing most of my pen work in a slightly translucent color, and that's so that I'm able to create some shading without having to change color, and you can really see that on the strawberries. Now for the green stems, I am using an opaque nib, and it's just as easy as clicking on opacity and dragging your stylus. So it's very easy to go back and forth between a nice translucent color and a very opaque color. When you learn to draw on a Chromebook or a tablet, you want to cut yourself a little bit of slack. There's only a slight learning curve, I would say, before you start sort of forming your own habits and figuring out how you create your own style on the Chromebook. But it's nice to sort of start with a project like this that's very graphic and punchy and fun, and you're not trying to make anything perfect. You're just creating this fun little colorful illustration. You can see here with the leaves how I do an outline and then I just click in the center and I get a nice color fill. So that's one aspect of the program that's very easy. You don't have to color everything in. And I'm just going on and on here, putting a few more blossoms, and I've used a very, very simple color palette of a cool red and green. Anytime I want to get my color back that I've already used, I can just go into color and go to history. So that's a very nice feature, is that I don't have to guess or remember the hex codes or anything like that. They're all saved there in the history of the project. And the last thing you see me doing here is just adding a few little seeds to these strawberries, and that's it. My project is done. It came together really simply and beautifully and quickly. And that's the nice thing about the Chromebook, is when your drawing tablet is also your computer and your internet browser, you can answer your emails and you can illustrate and design a business card over a cup of coffee. And so I'm really finding it easy to distribute my artwork. And it's easy as well to save. You can click and you're able to save into your Creative Cloud. You're able to send to your own computer, to send to Photoshop or whatever. And then a nice feature is that you can send this directly to Instagram. You can Instagram it or put it in your story. And I often do that where I'm working on something and I'll be able to send it directly into my Insta stories. So easy to share and distribute. I'm going to send that and save it. I'm going to get rid of the May because I know not everyone will want this as a monthly wallpaper. You might want to leave it on your phone all summer. And I also have another one over here that I did this morning, just some classic botanicals. I thought that would be kind of another cute one. And these will both be available over on my blog, shaydacampbellblog.com. So after the video, you can head over there and check them out. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today, and thank you to Chromebooks for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to go grab your cell phone wallpapers, enjoy them. I will see you Friday with a new video. Don't forget to subscribe.